Hey, there we are. Let me just fix this description. There we go. You're in here fast. Let's see if I can get... Okay, yeah, that's better. How is the three of you, four of you doing? Oh, how are we doing? Oh, we're doing pretty good. Just sitting here. I got my desk set up. I got some videos edited. I kind of had a stopping point for some videos. I need to go outside and record some footage when it's daylight, because right now it's dark out. Like I was doing part 16 of the hydro turbine, and I need to do like some sort of intro to describe exactly what I'm doing, because in the video that I have, I didn't actually record any of that. So I need to, explain what this is, my system layout, and that white and clear housing that I have is it's not the final version. It's like a temporary version. And I wanted to ask you guys, well, let's do this. I wanted to try this streaming setup, because I haven't, there we go. I haven't used OBS in probably a year. The last time I used OBS is Open Broadcasting something or other. It's for live streaming. So I wanted to test it out and see how it's working. Also, I wanted to know if my sound is coming through clearly, because I have it hooked up to my, well, it's right beside the camera, my XLR mic, and I didn't know how it was coming through. I have a stocking cap on top of the microphone right now as kind of a pop filter, because I don't have a pop filter yet, but the hat works just fine. It looks ugly. Here, I'll show you. There's my pop filter. I can turn the sound up a little bit. There, is that better? Andrew's asking what state I'm in. I'm in Pennsylvania. TR, yeah, I watched Chris clean his pipes too. That was quite entertaining. I didn't know that a system of his size would need or benefit pigging. So that was an interesting thing to watch. Even I know the concept of it, because I do live in a kind of an oil and gas area, so that's something that they do. But I didn't know it was used for hydro like he uses it. Now the dogs are barking because they probably hear me. You like my hair? I didn't get ready for this. My wife made peanut butter cookies. They're delicious. I wish you guys could have some. Yes, sound is good. Try to speak facing away from mic if you're going to use this setup outside. I will not be using this setup outside, because the microphone that I have there is, well, it's on an arm. Here, I can show you. And then I have, well, those are rolls that I made for Thanksgiving yesterday. And then here's my interface that I'm using. And that's not exactly portable. But I could use just the webcam that I have if I hooked it up, maybe to my laptop. But again, the whole reason that I got this desktop is that it's capable of doing powerful things like this, like streaming. I could have gotten a laptop, but for the same money, it'd be half the power. And I already have a laptop that's good enough for what I use it for. That's not YouTube. How high is the water table in your area? Well, that really depends on where you are, because it's a mountainous area. At our old house where the water wheel was, the water wheel was basically at the water table because it was so low in the valley. Like our water well was only 35 feet deep total, and there was times in the winter and spring where basically the water was at the ground level. If you took the cap off, the water in the well was at the ground level. So their water table was really high. Here it varies. Again, where I am here on the bottom of the hillside, it actually is fairly high too, at least on the surface. There's probably other strata of water tables. I'm not familiar with them. Excuse me. That's kind of why I had the sound turned down, because it was clipping when I would cough. Anyways, my last stream unfortunately was right on my cell phone, and it was going, because I didn't quite have very good Wi-Fi out there. It was just going through cellular service, and I probably don't have high enough bit rate for decent quality uploads, and that's why the last stream was very pixelated, and I'm sorry about that. I wish I had been recording it separately with my other camera too, just so I had it on film. I mean, I can download it from YouTube, but it's not good enough quality to really put in a final version. Brad McDonald's asking about the joiner in the background, the one that's back there. That's not a Powermatic, it's a Minimax. It's an FS31, which is a 12-inch joiner planer. So it's pretty cool. I still need to get knives for it. I got it 2 or 3 months ago, maybe even longer ago. Geez, and I got it for $750, which is a fantastic deal for a 12-inch joiner, and then it's also a 12-inch planer. So that was a really good deal. And then beside me, like a week after that, you can see I got this bandsaw too. This is also a Minimax. What model number is it? Let me look, because I forget. It's a Minimax S40. Sorry, my wheels are rolling around. It's a Minimax S45, which is like an 18-inch class bandsaw, and I got that for $400. So I have some Italian woodworking machines, that's for sure. Sorry, I'm going through the comments. As I get to them, the wood in the background, that stuff there, that's for trim in my house, which I haven't done yet. And guess what? All of that is going to run through the joiner planer. So that's what that is. That's probably about 75 or 80% of the window trim, and I don't have the door trim milled up yet, or rough cut yet, and I still have to do the baseboards too. All that wood, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are regulars have heard me say that the wood there is actually stuff that was, going this way, was the roof trusses for this garage before we built the house on top. So that's what those are. I want to make sure that monetization is enabled for this stream, because some of you guys like to give me super chats, and I know how to turn it on my phone, but not on my desktop. So I just want to make sure that that's an option. Might have to research how to do that real quick. Let me do that. I hate this keyboard. I got a new keyboard. This is the keyboard that I was using for my live stream when I built this computer. but it's not a full-size keyboard. I don't think it feels small. And then the shift key here is right next to the arrow key, and that's retarded. I hate it. Like, there's plenty of room down here. Come on, guys. Why couldn't you put the arrow keys down here instead of right next to the shift key? Turn on this feature. Turn them on, sign into Studio, go to monetization, supers, get started. Okay. Monetization, there we are. Video advertising, membership, supers, see more. That just goes back to the help. Here, I can even show you guys, because I'm on here, I can switch to screen capture. Look at that. And now we have infinite mice. Let me just minimize that because, oh look, it's a preview to the next video. Because it's annoying. So I'm trying to figure out here how to turn on Super Chat, which is a way of people donating directly to my channel through chat, which is helpful. One of the last live streams I made like $450, so I'd be kind of dumb to turn that down. Not that I would expect $450. Last time there was a guy, WT Kamer, also known as Trent. I won't say his last name. He donated a bunch of stuff, so thank you very much. So see, I'd go to turn on this feature and then turn it on. You go to the studio, so I'm here in my studio. I don't know. It's just a recursive issue. Maybe I'll worry about that later. I'll just go back to the live stream and open up OBS here and go to the webcam. I'm back. I'll just assume that super chats are enabled. Let's see where all of you are visiting to this stream from. Maverick is talking about making popcorn. I actually need to make popcorn, but as you see here, I have no stovetop. Daniel, hello in the Netherlands. Welcome. King Game, hi to you too. Ben Quick, hello from Australia. Bill in Columbus, Georgia, hi. I've driven through Georgia. I've never stopped there. It's been a while. Christopher, hi Chris from Ireland. I went to Ireland for our honeymoon. It was a fantastic trip. We went for 10 days. We rented a car and we drove around. And yes, I drove on the wrong side of the road, or as you guys would say, the right side of the road. Actually, the left side of the road. And I had a really fun trip there. King Game, can you show us the hydroelectricity maker? I mean, this is what I have, and the alternators over there on my workbench. Actually, it's not my workbench, it's my table saw. And I think I might just set it back up the way it was. I tore it down because I was going to maybe do some modifications to reduce the friction. But I might just set it up and leave it for the winter, and we'll see what we can make with it. Water is still... the spring still isn't flowing very much. Pacific Northwest Scitech saying get the Starlink up. Elon getting Starlink up. Yeah, I really want Starlink. I actually have pretty good internet here. You'll probably notice that the stream is fairly high quality, and I have the bit rate set at like 5,000 kilobits per second. But that Starlink wouldn't work for outside unless I also had a wireless router outside, or a suitcase that I could carry with me, but that's a little excessive. Rumbler's talking about the height differences in my shop here. I do plan on leveling them out. I don't know if I'm going to do pouring over with concrete. Well, first I'll do foam insulation and then concrete, or if I'm going to do like wood, just all wood with insulation in between. So we'll see. But I do need to do something about it. It's very irritating to roll anything around on my floor, and it's not like a lot of people would kill for a shop this big, but still it's not that big. So I want to have things on wheels, and as it is now, things on wheels don't roll. So William's asking about the Cybertruck and what my thoughts are on EV, electric vehicles, and I love them. And I was a little. It took about 24 hours for the Cybertruck to grow on me. I do like it, and I do think it would work for most of my needs, except it doesn't have an 8-foot bed. I wish it had an 8-foot bed option, because I use the 8-foot bed on my truck all the time. And then I'm really interested about the solar option that they were talking about, or that Elon tweeted about in a tweet, where they'll put solar panels on it, and then you'll get, like, 15 miles a day free from the sun if you have good solar exposure. And that's all I would need. So I wouldn't have to ever plug it in, except if I go for longer trips, and that's only once or twice a month. Gabe's asking about using a smaller alternator for the turbine. Yeah, I thought about that, but I can't really go that much smaller, because then I don't have the power capacity for when there is enough water to run it at full capacity. So I might actually use like a smaller alternator, 2 alternators, so a low flow alternator and a high flow alternator that are just sized appropriately for the flow. Kim Games asking if you can be a moderator. Sure, why not? Since you're an active commenter here, I can always remove you from that privilege if I need to. I am behind in comments. I'm surprised that I'm so far behind. Norway, Stuttgart, if that's how it's said. Munich, Oregon. Hi guys, it's nice to see you here. Andrew's talking about the price of the Cybertruck, and specifically the numbers. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that they could have done $69,420. That's interesting. King Game 222. Will I do a potato gun? Actually, I've already done a potato gun. That was like 20 years ago. I did a potato gun. So maybe it's, where is it? I think it's at my parents' house. I might have to get it for a video. That's fun to do. Let's see if my wife is saying. My wife is saying, could I throw some food at the cats and make sure they have water? Okay, I will do that. We have hospital cats in our hospital. Not hospitalized, like they're resident cats. And because it's a holiday, people aren't here to take care of them, so we do it. Spencer here. Spencer's here. Guys, Langston's Alternative Power, Spencer Langston, he's the one that actually sent me the hub here. And I had the spoons myself. So he's really cool. And we talked for a long time on the phone. And I wish that was like recorded for you guys to listen to. That would have been really probably entertaining and interesting for you to hear. Because we talked about all sorts of things. I would have had to edit out some maybe more personal details, but that still would have been fantastic to listen to. Like we were talking about charge controllers and different ways of setting up Peltons and Turgos with shafts and pulleys and wind turbines, and the supplier for the alternator, other YouTubers. We were talking about all sorts of stuff. Mikhail Jern, is that Jern maybe? I don't know if the J's like a yay or a Y. Is asking if I'm doing solar, and I do plan on doing solar once I get a little bit of extra money, which shouldn't be too far along the road here. Is my goal to do 100% solar and hydro? Ideally, yes. The house is somewhat designed to be capable of accommodating that. Because the house is super insulated and not very large, and it's all electric. So as long as I get enough electricity, I could potentially power my entire house with solar. and hydro and wind. Chris is asking what charger inverter system. Sorry, I don't know what I have a bit of a cold, and my voice is a little bit scratchy. You can hear. Somebody's asking me about the charger inverter. That's Chris Chester. Which charger and inverter I'm going to be using, and have I looked at the MPP solar PIP inverters? Yes, all of that stuff is very interesting. I think for a charge controller for the hydro, it needs to be a very specific type of hydro or charge controller that has MPP algorithms that work with hydroelectricity, because it has a different tuning algorithm. And Spencer had said that I should do a Midnight Solar Classic 200 non-SL version, which has the hydro tuning mode, but those are a lot of money, and a little bit less money is a 150, a classic 150. So I might try going with that, and then I just won't be able to connect the charge controller while the turbine is freewheeling, because then it could potentially overvolt, but I don't know. Like the maximum voltage I've recorded so far is 130, and I don't know if that's too high. I mean, it's not too high. I don't know if after a little bit of time of it running in, if it will produce higher voltage unloaded, and then I can't connect something that's above the rated voltage to a charge controller, because that'll fry it. And I'd have to do something else to slowly load up the charge controller if it does have an open circuit voltage of above 150. Andrew's saying he was banned from making potato gun after he used gutter spikes in potatoes before loading them. You shouldn't make them out of a weapon. Make them into a weapon. The one I made was PVC. Actually, I remember now it broke when I dropped it, but it wasn't pressurized. That was after I shot something, then it broke. And I was shooting a lot of corn cobs and black walnuts. And that's what I was using in my potato gun. Tard AI or Al, I don't know, is asking if I should use thought about using a sealed turbine instead of an open one. Sealed turbines work for low head, but not high head. There's a lot of reasons why sealed turbines probably wouldn't work. And I don't really know enough about the physics to go into why they wouldn't work, other than it's engineering intuition that they don't. Stefan's asking about the low mass of the hub. I don't know what you're talking about. It's, other than being plastic and aluminum, yeah, it is kind of low mass, but having additional rotational inertia doesn't necessarily help. And there's a lot of rotational inertia in the alternator too. Jim, hi from the north side of Lake Erie. Well, I'm south of you, that's for sure. I'm catching up on comments again. William is asking what's so special about the spoons that you've used. Well, if you go on eBay, well, we can just do that. I will go to screen capture and then maximize this. We'll go to ebay.com and here, this is what I used. So if you want to use these specific, I wonder if there's a way that I can put my own. I'll do it later. Like if I had like a mini window here of my head. Let's go back to webcam. So those spoons that I was just showing, the only reason that I got them, that they're special, is that they're cheap. And they're pretty durable plastic, so I don't have any concerns about them not lasting very long. Let's go back to my live stream. And I lost it somehow. Yay me. There we are, live dashboard. I lost you guys for a moment there. What kind of batteries will I use? Lithium of some sort. Yes, Andrew H., thank you for answering to Bill about why Peltons. They're also supposedly the most efficient. Turgos are a little bit less efficient, but not much. Keith is saying, nice shop. Thank you. It's getting better. You see now that I actually have a ceiling. Unfortunately, it's very dark because it's like a pinkish, reddish wood because it's fire-rated sheathing. So I need to paint that white and then put in proper lights. It's just scrap lights that I had that I screwed to the ceiling. Tard Al or Tard AI is asking about pumped storage. That would require an excessively large storage tank to use pumped storage. It only works in grid situations. I don't know the correct term. Commercial applications, we could say. Keith is asking how much head do I have? I have one head, and then 280 feet of head also. Chris is saying to put a big resistor with a BV switch in parallel so that I don't get over voltage. Yes, I can do that, or just a light bulb even would probably do it. Have I considered something like a Tesla Powerwall? Yes, and I was thinking about doing my own Powerwall as a better option, a more affordable option. There's a guy on YouTube, HB Powerwall, and I know he watches my channel, and he's down in was it Australia or New Zealand? I forget which. I think it's Australia. And he builds Powerwalls, so I was thinking about doing something a lot like his. Mike is asking if I plan on doing something to keep the dirt out of the spring. Yes, I just plan on filling it with gravel and then building up the rock wall in front of it, so that'll keep out dirt from falling in. King Games asking if I've tried to make wind turbines. I have 3 videos about trying to build a wind turbine, but the alternator that generator that I was using wasn't spinning fast enough, so I needed a lower RPM alternator, and I just haven't set it up. I haven't had the time to play with it anymore. Nicholas Martin says, hi, what's going on? Well, we're in a live stream. I don't have any other agenda besides that. Christopher's saying, I actually taught myself woodworking just to build it. Yeah, I've mostly self-taught, kind of. I haven't built a whole lot of stuff out of wood besides, like, carpentry work recently. I don't have any easily accessible, like, photo galleries or slideshows of woodworking projects that I've done. So I can't bring that up. I mean, I can't show you guys because it's all over the place. Andrew's saying an electric oven element would work too. Yep, that'll work. Alex Tardy, good job on changing your name. Hurricane Meisters, you could build a giant Van de Graaff generator to make some huge lightning bolts. Actually, dare I call him friend? I think he's a friend. Andy, the guy that I did Andy's water wheel video on, he has a giant Van de Graaff generator. Well, it's not giant, but it's fairly large. And I think he has some videos on that too. Let me get... I'll post a link to his videos because he always likes traffic. He'll get a kick out of surprisingly getting some traffic on his videos if you guys go watch it. quiet. Andy L. He has 76 subscribers. I thought he had more videos on... Okay, let me post this link in the chat here. He made a funny Van de Graaff video, or Van de Graaff generator video. So if you guys watch that, he'll get a kick out of that. More views. In Quebec, there's 2 feet of snow. Here, there is 0 feet of snow. We had a lot of snow recently, but it's all melted. Andrew's saying, playing GTA, should I go to the strip club? No, I think you should try to fly to the top of the highest mountain. It's been probably 2 years since I played GTA 5. And yeah, Quebec is in Canada. I know that. It's an entire province, isn't it? Actually, I don't even know. Yes, it's an entire province, but it's also a city. If you say Quebec City, that's why I was confused, because I wasn't sure if Quebec meant Quebec City. Keith, I think you were saying earlier that you live in... Was that you in a different comment somewhere, saying you live in Butler, PA? Or at least 50 miles north of Pittsburgh. I'm not concerned about snow or cold, because the spring water is quite warm compared to freezing weather, and it takes a serious amount of energy to make water freeze, or to suck out a serious amount of energy. So I really don't think that it's going to be an issue to have freezing weather. Off-Grid Wannabe is saying a Trump air compressor. Yeah, that's something I inadvertently kind of made one. But since the flow is variable, you can't rely on it working. Well, you know, in Denmark, there's a lot of wind, Stefan. So if you want to build a wind turbine, I'm sure that would work. Let's see, just catching up on comments again. Christopher, you have a water wheel. Why haven't I seen a video of it? Langston's asking if I can try out the low head turbine. Where is it? I don't even know. Oh, there it is. I'm back. Langston is asking, or Spencer Langston, sorry, is asking when I'm going to be trying this guy out at Andy's place. And actually, not even the spring. I think we would be able to do it probably fairly soon. I have to get with Andy about maybe setting up a date where we could mess around with this. Andrew's saying Xbox, PS4, or PC. Well, Xbox One is my primary gaming right now. It's all Battlefield 1 is what I do play when I do play it, which hasn't been in over a month. On my computer, I literally only have 2 games, and that is Cities Skylines and Kerbal Space Program. So I don't actually do a whole lot of gaming. And yeah, I'm glad I got this mic set up. It's a lot better than anything else I could be doing. Greg's asking, how do I keep track of the RPM of the system? Well, I could have a literal RPM sensor on it, or voltage is a decent indicator of RPM, at least unloaded. If you do, if you load the turbine, then it has less volts per RPM, so it's not a good indicator when it's loaded. My wife is saying that she's full of stuffing, but she wants more. I don't know that RPM monitoring is actually something that's necessary even. I'm not going to focus on that. Maybe as an added feature at the very end. Hurricane Meister, is that how you say it, is asking, do I know Space Engineers? Is that a game? So no, I don't really know it. What is my gamer tag on Xbox? I'll just type it in for you. There you go, that's my gamer tag on Xbox. I'm just gonna set this down because I keep playing with it. I'm gonna drink here too. Oh yeah, I could measure, so to measure the RPM of the generator, I could measure the frequency coming out of it too. That's one way of doing RPM measurement. For sure. Tim is saying that he's built a water and wind generator, mainly for the city people. Well, it's, you know, everybody needs lights, so, and heat, and cold beer. Even though I'm not a beer drinker, I like to make jokes about drinking beer. So water and wind generators are very useful even in hunting camps. Tim, do you have any videos? I would love to see them. Or photos, yeah. Am I going to put any of those big electrical amp or volt gauges on my system? Let's see. You guys asked about woodworking. I see this back here. Those are going to fall down. This is a dog food watering thing that I made in high school. And it's all, I think it's mahogany. So I am a woodworker of sorts. But this is an inaccurate representation of my capabilities. Because that's from 2004. So I just went and got, I do have an amp meter. I think I showed this in a previous video. I guess I can peel the label off for you guys here because I left it on for video, but oh yeah, look at that. And this is a shunt current and voltage meter. So this is just a piece of steel or aluminum. I'm not sure what, probably not copper. And it measures the voltage difference across this to get a current reading because there's a known resistance here. And there's even a little notch here you can see that's probably finely tuned and calibrated to produce a known voltage difference per amp. So that's what this measures. And then this is good for 100 amps, 200 volts. So this is way more than I need. And it was cheap. Andrew Leisman, sorry, I just scroll back up on the comments here. Yes, my wife's on Hulu right now. She's watching The Good Wife. Tim, yes, we want those pictures. Chris Chester, have you got a 3D printer you could prototype nozzle designs? I do not. I bought one today, actually. Let me switch over to my screen capture here. And that was on, not Woot. Yeah, there it is. I got this guy, $159 on Ender 3 Pro. I don't have any experience with 3D printing, no hands-on experience, so I figure this is a good cheap way to get started. And even though, as much as I would like, for example, a Prusa Mark III or a Prusa Mini, which will be coming out soon, those are still very expensive to just start off and play around with. Probably less fiddling with them to get them to work, but I'm not opposed to fiddling. I'm mechanically and electronically inclined, so it shouldn't be that difficult to dive into. So I got one of these. Fortunately, there's no links I can give you guys to show that, or to maybe make some money on that, to show you guys that I've done that. There, live stream dashboard. We're back. So, with that 3D printer, I do plan on doing all sorts of stuff. Even some hydro stuff is definitely a plan. I don't know why my webcam keeps like focusing. It's very irritating. And there was a little bit of fuzz on the lens. I just blew it off. So hopefully it's okay now. Leesman. Andrew Leesman, not Liesman. Full of lies, man. All right, Leesman. I'll try to remember that. Greg's asking if I've had any chance with electrical engineers before starting my hydro system. No, I haven't worked with or talked to any electrical engineers, but I do have some schooling on electrical engineering. I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I know it might not show it sometimes, but we did have some electrical engineering courses, so I know enough to be dangerous. Andrew's saying when you have a dozen 3D printers sitting on a table, yeah, then I would have a problem. Really, I really want a CNC router. That would be fantastic right now, but like a decent one, not a crappy $500 one. But I also don't like V wheels. Is that what they're called? Like on Shapeokos or X Carves. I don't like those type of wheels. So any router that I would get or build would have linear profile bearings. I don't want to do anything less than that because I want to have precision and the capacity to do maybe really light steel milling if I had to. But also cutting aluminum like butter would be fantastic. So I want like a decent quality CNC printer. My wife's calling me. Hey, Amy, we're on a live stream.
Call me back.
I'll call you back. Okay, bye. Chris is saying that Ender 3 is a popular or good starter printer, and that's kind of the reason why I was okay doing that, because there's so many people that are using it, and it's so popular. So I'll be able to find fixes or modifications for anything that I want to do on it. Originally, I kind of wanted like a Cetus Mark III, CETUS Mark III, which is an all linear profile rail 3D printer. But some of the reviews I saw on those were kind of iffy, so that's kind of why I didn't go with it. Off-Grid Wannabe says he has a slow-moving river. Any ideas for generation? Stick a water wheel in it. And well, if it's really slow, you probably won't make a whole lot of hydropower, but you could do like a spiral water pump to irrigate your garden or something, just to play with it. And Andrew Leesman saying everybody gets his name wrong. Well, just try saying my last name. Everybody gets my name wrong too. And the Pie Guy is saying there's a game on Steam called Infra, INFRA, where I'm a structural engineer going around doing things. Let's see what that looks like. Infra game. Steam. Well, okay, how about this? Oh, I don't remember my password. So let's just look it up here. Okay, I'm not seeing anything.
Who was the one that protected this city and dedicated his whole life to its well-being? And yet, this is how you thank me. You believe those who betrayed us and led future want to silence.
Huh. This is interesting. I will have to take a look at that. This seems very, very fun. All right. Andrew Leesman, what is your occupation, or is YouTube full-time? I don't make enough full-time, at least enough on YouTube to go full-time. But for right now, I do work, kind of quasi-work, for our small business that my wife and I own, veterinary hospital. I do all sorts of stuff that's not veterinary work. So basically anything that's not veterinary work, I do for the business. So that takes up most of my time. And that's effectively my occupation right now. Chris is also saying that he's built many CNC machines and a laser cutter engraver. Yes, I do want a laser cutter too. I've wanted one for many, many years. I even went to a sign making trade show in Philadelphia one day, which is a long drive for me in a single day out and back, just to look at some lasers from the big three. And I do want to get one, and I think it would be advantageous from a business standpoint and a YouTube standpoint and a family standpoint, because my father-in-law owns a memorial business, like gravestones, so I could make some money there doing work for him. Maybe not full-size gravestones initially, but maybe I could make enough money to upgrade to a larger laser that can do gravestones. Andrew Leesman's, am I a gun owner and an NRA member? I am a gun owner. Yes, I have 3. I have a 22, a 30-30, and a shotgun. It's like an 18 gauge. It's a smaller gauge shotgun. And an NRA member. No, not an NRA member. I actually had to scrape the NRA sticker off the truck cap that I got used. I'm more liberal, not an NRA type person. Greg's saying I'm in trouble with my wife. Probably. Maybe she's watching this on my TV upstairs. That'd be funny. Joshua Mott saying, so pronounce your last name, Joe. If you want to know how my last name is said, it's Malovich, which is the same as Malkovich. Just subtract the K from your pronunciation. Chris Chester, you also have a 6-foot high Delta printer. That thing's got to be a monster. I mean, it is a monster, not, it's got to be, it is one. And then Space Engineers is a little bit like Kerbal, but more realistic in 3D. Yeah, I'll have to give Space Engineers a shot too. My computer will be capable of playing most games now. And no, I'm not hunting tomorrow. I like guns more for the, not for the hunting aspect of it, more for the idea of self-protection, and also I appreciate them as machines because I'm more mechanically inclined as an engineer. I like them as machines. And I like the looks of them too sometimes. Like if you go on Reddit, there's one it's commonly called the Space Cowboy, which is a 30-30 Marlin with I think it's like a wood stock but black furniture everywhere else, and it looks sweet. Or is it stainless? I don't remember now. It's been a while since I looked at it. I just remember it looking sweet. Yeah, okay, thanks for the message, Andrew. I'm sure my wife is freaking out now. Not really. Daniel, good night. Have fun sleeping and be productive tomorrow. And I've got up on the stream. I don't have a whole lot else to say right now. And I think I've answered all the questions. So I'm going to head off. I'm going to feed the cats down at the hospital like my wife asked me to. And then probably go upstairs and... oh, it's almost bath time for the kids, so I'll probably be doing that too. What, Christopher? You're saying, Joe, what? Oh, wait, you gave us photos? I don't remember seeing any photos or links to photos. Also, I don't know that you can... Let me make you a moderator, because then I think you can put links. And because if you're not a moderator, you can't post links on my chat. So I want to see those pictures if you say that you posted them. There we are. Water wheel. Hey, look at that. Let's all look at his water wheel. Nice. Are you worried about balancing or out of round rotations? I don't see a whole lot of adjustment on that shaft. Was that about 3 or 4 feet in diameter? That should be enough for a few watts for sure. a little comment about your water wheel here. Your bucket shape is maybe not quite ideal, because if you look at your bucket right here, make this larger. If you look at your bucket right here, at this point it's spilling out all the water. So you lose the effective head height from this height down to about here. So you're losing maybe 10 to 20% of your potential power. So if you were to make your bucket kind of scoop, like if you're tracing on this edge here, if you make it to scoop more water, like maybe an arch, or if you add to the edge of your buckets a little bit of a lip, that'll keep your water in the buckets longer and get you more power output. I don't know if that grain orientation there is maybe not the best. As much as plywood is not good with water, it does stay generally more straight, I feel, than solid wood. So maybe plywood buckets would have been a little bit better of an option, or even plastic would have been good too. I see you got some hand planes in the background too. That's a lot of them. I only have a few hand planes. I have like a 6, a 7, and an 8, and then maybe a 5 and a 3. And then here it looks like you have that's a tread wheel motor. Make it full screen, there we go. Probably a tread wheel motor and a sprocket there. Right off, I'm going to say that you're probably not going to get enough RPMs to make enough volts with that treadmill motor, because treadmill motors, they need a lot more RPM to produce voltage, and such a large water wheel as you have here will not be producing enough RPMs to get the voltage out of this to do anything with. Oh, look, there's comments down here too from probably you guys. Look at those. Yeah, what do you plan to do with this wheel? It looks like it's just something for fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. Protecting on the wood. Most wood water wheels actually last long enough to not worry about it. Like by the time it rots out, you're probably wanting to redesign it anyways. And yeah, now you just have to build the rest of the mill if you're milling grain. Alright guys, that was a fun little way to leave the stream here. Let me just go through these comments that you made, because I was not looking at the comments as I was going through there. Yeah, Joshua, go have fun on Andy's channel. He doesn't have many videos. I invited him over tomorrow because he doesn't have a proper editing computer or anything really to edit with. So he was going to bring over some videos, and we were going to edit them on my computer. So maybe he'll have some more content soon here. And I'm glad to have inspired you to build that water wheel. I'm pretty sure I've inspired a lot of people to build water wheels, actually. 5 foot in diameter, so a little bit larger than I thought. I just based it off of your foot spacing, but now I see it set up on the table there. It is quite a bit larger than I thought, so 5 foot is pretty good. Yeah, good miters. Christopher's saying that it'll be a flume, but you need to build it. Yeah, I think a flume would be a great option there, but also it's not very long, so you could probably go with like a 6 or an 8-inch pipe, and that wouldn't be too expensive. I would actually recommend doing that instead of the flume, just because it's a lot easier, and then you don't have people commenting saying that the wood's just going to rot out. And so Christopher's saying that he has compound gearing arriving this week, just like my water wheel has compound gearing. That's good. That's what you need. I guarantee it. Peltons are not the way to go. They're only the way to go if you have high head. And Christopher there does not have high head. He has a low head system, and you can't use Pelton with that. Joshua's asking what other YouTube channels I can recommend. Well, let me answer Christopher's first, and then I'll go get some show you guys some other YouTube channels that you guys could probably watch. Instead of a pipe running directly from your source horizontally to your water wheel, what you could do is run the pipe along the ground and leave the pipe pressurized with an elbow at the bottom by your water wheel. So the here I can go back to the screen here. So what you do is you have your pipe here and it runs along the ground, and then right at the water wheel you put an elbow so it goes up into a square box that can dump water over the water wheel. And that would probably be an alternative option that you could do, just as an idea. Yes. So if you're watching the live stream, you can go on YouTube. Let's just go to my YouTube channel. It's easiest. So first one that was already mentioned is Mr. Hydro. This guy has a lot of stuff that's very similar to mine. So he has good content. And then there's other ones that you probably already know of if you're watching my channel. And then there's Chris Harbor. He does hydroelectric stuff too. Highly suggest. Let me make that bigger so you guys can see. There you go. So he has more hydro stuff. And then there's Christoph 48. Yes, here we are. This guy, if you know French, he has hydroelectric videos too. But
500 feet from the turbine.
And this is actually one of the first English videos that he did. But he's mostly a French speaker. So he has really good videos too. This is most similar to the system that I'm building. If you see that, it will look very similar to mine when it's done, which is very similar to Chris Harbor's also. Other places, there's this guy Seth Johnson who runs a channel, Land to House. Oh, there we go.
Hello, I'm Seth Johnson.
He's working on an Archimedes screw, and he kind of did a Pelton turbine too, a little bit.
The water that I had coming off of that.
So this is a project that he's working on. That's a recent video. Wow, look at that spelling. And actually, guys, if you just want to take a shortcut, where are my playlists? Let me get off of here so that I don't accidentally show you something that you guys shouldn't see. Because I have a bunch of playlists that I will go to also. Library, maybe. I can never remember how to get to my playlists. Your channel. Playlist, there we are. Just look for the one that has a lot of videos on it. There we are, Micro Hydro.
Well, for
Let's go back to screen capture. So if you go to my playlists, you'll see a playlist that's just called Micro Hydro. And on here is, well, 324 videos of micro hydro stuff. If you want to watch more content that's not mine. So any of these are at least a little bit related to my content, or a lot related. Like, oh, look at that. That looks pretty familiar. I mean, not familiar. I think it's pretty close. But that generator looks pretty familiar. And it's a water wheel. I've always liked this one too, because it uses a giant cable spool and then a Fisher-Paykel motor. And it's a breast shot water wheel too, so that's interesting. So yeah, go on my channel and then look at Micro Hydro as a playlist. There's a lot of extra videos that'll keep you up for hours upon hours of viewing. And okay, we're over an hour now. That just extended it by 15 minutes. Oh yeah, Engineer 775 is a good one. Scott is his name, I forget his last name. Power Spout, Lowhead is good too. Power Spout has quite a few videos actually. If you just YouTube search Power Spout, you'll find a lot of stuff that's not even necessarily published by Power Spout. This Old Tony is good too. And then Christopher's putting out some other links, which I will view. Oh, yep, Henry Walker. That's another one too. I'm sure he's in my playlist. Okay, well, guys, it was fun, and I will see you guys later.
And welcome back to my water wheel project.
Probably finish up editing
Before I can
more
start
videos and
assembling
probably
the wheel,
have another
there are
video
just a
out
few
for you
things that need
tomorrow.
to get done.
Or maybe,
First, I made the bearings.
I don't know, maybe early next week.
I chose wood bearings as the water
see.
wheel will rotate
So,
slowly.
Good night.
Supposedly, wood
and
bearings
sleep
are
tight.
better at maintaining the oil film than roller
Now,
bearings
how do I
at such low speeds.
close the live stream? Stop
There are woods
streaming.
which
There we go.
make very
Bye.